Hey everybody, Warpoint here, and in today's video we are going to be doing an installation of an M.2 and review of the PlayStation 2.0 beta firmware that unlocks the use of this M.2 drive and has added some nifty little features to it.
A little bit of ease of life, ease of usage.
Yes, some simple things that should have been there on release.
Yeah. Like the M.2's expansion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you could have stayed awake for Cerny's talk,
yeah.
Yeah. So, also here we have a thermometer that we're going to hook up just so we can get some temp readings, because Sony is saying that you need a double-sided heatsink, we'll say, yeah, because the drives themselves are going to be putting off a lot of heat that could be damaged if not properly cooled. And I have a pair of gloves here because my day job ruins my hands, and you people don't want to see that when we're up close doing this. So,
with that,
Rob, you're our tech guy. Do you want to go in a little bit of detail here while I...
So, we're going to start with a little bit of information on the drive. We are going with a Western Digital Black. This is the SN850, and it has read and write speeds of up to 700 megabytes. Or, yeah, 7,000 megabytes, not 700.
Wow!
I know, right?
We're back in the early 2000s here.
700 megabytes wouldn't quite be fast enough.
No.
7,000 megabytes read and write speed.
Alright, so before we install our M.2 drive, we are going to install our thermometer so we can get a baseline reading for temperatures inside the console before and after installation. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, nope, wrong way, right here.
So whenever you're doing this, the slot is on the same side as your disk drive if you have a disk drive.
Yep.
If not, it's the opposite side of the PlayStation logo.
Now, Rob's told me about some of the people. All you gotta do is grab this corner here, this top corner, pull back a little bit, and it'll slide off. No reason to hulk it.
You ain't gotta pull it apart like it's a phone book.
Rob, what do we need? We need the iFixit!
Handy dandy, all-knowing iFixit kit. So this here is just a simple Phillips head to take the cover off of the...
Look at that.
I know, right? That.
Beautiful. We're going to go with... Try number 1. Oh, there we go. That's a beautiful fit.
Nice.
And like with all Sony PlayStations, the 3 didn't have it. No, the 3 did have it. From the 3 and 4, and now the 5. I don't know why I'm overcomplicating it. There's always a branded screw that'll tell you where the hard drive is. Hold that. Damn me and my fat fingers. So Rob, our tech guy.
Yeah.
You want to break down and explain these numbers here?
So what the numbers are is the length of the drive in millimeters. So when you look at the M.2s, there will be numbers next to it. And on here, I'm not sure where they put it on these drives. But basically, the drive will say 2230, 2242, 2280, or 22110. And what that refers to is the first two digits are your width, which is 22 millimeters. The second set of numbers is your length, which again can be in 30, 42, 60, 80, or 110. The larger ones, you know, they help dissipate heat a little better, but most are 80 in length, some being 60, but those are normally smaller ones.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed laptops tend to have 30 or 42.
Space saving.
Yeah. But
Those
of course,
tight little areas.
yeah, smaller obviously means you're not going to get much memory out of it.
Yeah, and with the PS5, you can do anything from the 30 to the 110 as long as it's 22 millimeters wide.
Mm-hmm.
And then
now this is very important because Sony has stated with your cooling structure, it cannot exceed 25.
yeah, and there is a whole list of requirements. So next we're going to take our digital thermometer and we're going to have one probe inside the M.2 expansion bay and one just on the outside of the motherboard case, just to give us a baseline reading on how much heat is actually being created from the system at stock.
And how much will be added with the drive.
Yeah.
Nice satisfying snap. All right.
So now we got the thermometer probes installed, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over to our beautiful TV, and we're going to run it through both idle at like menu and then under a little bit of load playing a game. Let's jump into that.
All right, so now that we got our baseline temps, we did 10 minutes of idle at the main menu and 10 minutes of Resident Evil Village gameplay. Sorry, I messed that up. It's not the most graphically demanding game, but it is still a pretty good one.
Puts a nice load on the system.
Yeah, me personally, I've cleared the game several times, and yeah, there are times where I hear that fan ramp up pretty good. So now we're going to take the cover back off. We're going to remove one of the probes out of the motherboard area. And we are going to install our M.2 and put our probe back in and see how much more heat generates inside that case. Once again, disk drive up, grab this top corner, peel it back, slide. I'm gonna move that stuff there for this. Robert, we need our handy dandy screwdriver.
It is a
I fix it! I fix it! There is a heatsink option that Western Digital pre-installed with it, but it's about $150 price difference just for them to add their own heatsink to it. So I decided to go the route that I know a lot of people are going to do. They're going to grab their own heatsink. Hopefully they get a good one. I made sure this was a double-sided one because this is a 2 terabyte, and from what I'm hearing, it puts off a lot of heat. I've yet to crack the seal on this. See if I can get this open. Hopefully I don't ruin the ball casing and all that. All right, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Once again, I'm wearing gloves because my daytime job destroys my hands and it is not pretty. So this is interesting. They talk about how much heat is put off with these drives, but they've only included their own heatsink on one side. That board is bare on the bottom side. They've included their own tool. Their own tool. We don't need that. Because that's iFixit. So now they've given us 3 thermal pads, which I'm gonna say is a little spare for newbies like me. All right. Now, logic would dictate that you would read the instructions on installing that. I don't need that. Don't do that. I'm not contacting customer service. Go ahead. You want to hear that nice little click there? Line up. Shaky hands.
You're just using the screw that was provided.
Yep. So Sony has a screw pre-installed in the 110 slot. So we just hook that out with the sleeve. You want to hear that nice little click as you push it in. Line that up. Good to go. Nice click. There we go. Our M.2 is installed. And now it's time to take it over here and get it all set up.
Alright, so now that we got our temperature tests done, after 10 minutes of idle and 10 minutes of gameplay, it shows that they're inside the M.2 slot, expansion slot, it was actually a few degrees cooler with the M.2 in there than versus without it. I don't know if that had something to do with the heatsink, you know, actually pulling the heat away. The actual case temperature stayed close to the same. You know, there wasn't too much difference. So I don't know what it did with the heat, but it wasn't in the M.2 slot.
It doesn't really make sense, but I am going to continue on with testing. Tomorrow, next few days, I'm going to put that probe back in there and see if I can stress it with something a little bit more. But not Call of Duty.
Yeah, not Call of Duty.
Not Call of Duty.
You can watch one of our earlier videos, our live stream video or podcast, listen to it, to
find out why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so, like I said, surprisingly, it's an easy install. Load times transferring to the M.2 from an external drive, horrendous.
Oh god.
But transferring from, you know, the actual internal storage to the M.2 was pretty quick and easy.
Yeah.
You know.
If you want to reach over and grab it. The external drive that I use actually is a Western Digital brand as well. It is the
P10?
P10.
The P10 game drive?
Yeah. 5 terabyte P10 external drive. It is probably the most basic of hard drive functions with the way the games load and stuff. But
It's a game drive.
it's 5 terabytes and it holds my PS4 games.
And at the time, we were playing Call of Duty, which is like a half of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will update when we have more information on the testing, but the initial testing is it's running cool. It's running great. So the additional features to the 2.0 beta firmware update, which included, like you were saying before, the nifty little tag to show if it's a PS4, PS5 game.
Yes, which should have been there. As I said, it should have been there. It's
Right.
such a little minor thing,
But it's such an ease of access thing.
especially when you first get it
Right, knowing
you're
what
going
games are
through,
PS4 or PS5,
and you
what
want to
you've
go
updated
through,
to.
do your upgrades from the PS4 to the PS5, and then you have to do the little 3 dot button right next to the
Right.
game's name and view if it's the PS4 or PS5, and then you obviously don't want double, so then you got to delete the PS4 one from
Right.
it. And it just makes it easier to have that little symbol there next to the name, which they added in this beta. Another feature that was added, which we thought was very cool, they added 3D audio support through your TV speakers. And as you saw in the video, you sit where you would normally sit while gaming, hold the controller up to close to your face, activate the test, shoots out generic laser sounds.
Yeah.
And there you go. Now, say this, not all games are supported, obviously. It has to have the 3D audio support. The PS5, I'm thinking not all PS5 games have it.
But most do.
Most of them
And
do, which...
If they don't have it now, I'm sure there'll be an update for them soon to have it.
Exactly. Other than that, I didn't notice any other... No, I don't dig through these patch notes. I like to go in there and explore, see what I can find that's different. And
Well,
those are
and
the only two that I've found so far.
And the thing with that too, I mean, you know, if you're going in and looking for something and you really got to dig for it, yeah, it might be an ease of access thing, because I know that there's something with the game menu now that it gives you an additional video or something whenever you're just overlooking. But it's little features that you probably wouldn't notice unless you went looking for them. So to me, those are going to be overlooked anyways.
Yeah.
We don't have any information on when the actual firmware update will become official and out of the beta phase. So we'll update you guys on that when we have more information on that. But all in all, like we were saying, it's an easy install, easy, firmware update. You know, the update itself is basically you put a code in to.
Well, here's, and I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot to. When you receive your email for the beta access code, of course, you go into your PlayStation Store, and on the PS5 now it's different. An actual store doesn't open up.
Right.
It changes the menus on screen a little bit. You have to go all the way to the right side into your cart and redeem. It says redeem codes. Redeem it there. It's not going to download from there. You actually have to go into your settings, go under system, and you'll see it added a little option where it says PS5 beta.
Right.
And then you select that. It'll install the update and reboot your system.
Yeah. You know, so it's just basically like installing any other update.
Yeah.
But you know, once it becomes official, it'll just be an automatic update, so you won't have to worry about doing any of that. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick and easy. Even the upgrade to the M.2, you know, like you see in the video, you just turn the system on, click, the format M.2 to the system. It goes through, it formats, and it restarts, and you're good to go.
And we actually did it to select to not format it
Just to see what would happen.
and shut the system down.
Yeah, in order to use it, you have to uninstall it. If you're not going to
Uninstall
use
it, yeah. Uninstall it or format the drive. There's no just bypassing it.
So that leads me to wonder, we didn't try doing this without the system upgrade, the beta firmware.
Having the M.2.
Yeah, what happens if you have an M.2 in it without?
People have done it. It reads it, but it won't support it.
Okay, well I didn't know if it wouldn't let you, like it would tell you to remove it now or not. So if you guys have tried that, let us know in the comments below. But yeah, other than that, like I said, it was a pretty clean install, and overall, it made a lot of things more useful.
Oh, definitely.
So are you planning on upgrading to an M.2 expansion? Let us know in the comments. And as always, we'll catch you guys at the warp point.
Peace.